Gotcha.
Oh, come. Greg.
Hi, Riley. Riley. This is Levi's littlest. That's Riley. Riley.
No,
He's with Sarah.
okay, she's different.
Yeah. Carolyn's who you're thinking
She's
of.
different, yeah.
Yeah.
The mommy to Donovan and
Alex and Brittany.
yeah.
Yeah, Brittany's 17.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she's here somewhere. Oh, she's the one in the purple and
Oh my God.
she's beautiful. Yeah. Donovan and Alex over there. Yeah. That's the youngest.
Last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 17 to 1. I'm done.
Whoa. Little slickery on that seat, isn't it? Yeah, he finally figured out what happened, what causes that.
Sure.
Corny thoughts. Corny thoughts.
Oh, they're corny, all right.
Corny thoughts, sweetie.
Said corny, not horny.
How would you take a picture of the Levi clan? I was trying to get you to smile for me.
So I said, think corny, not horny.
That's the Levi clan what I said.
I know. I believe it's not fair. All I got was camera.
Make it all the Levi clan together. You're part of the Levi clan. Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not.
Come here, Ashton.
Straight down the hall to the left. Like that thing Chris had on Facebook.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you probably get
The hat on.
church. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yep, that's it.
That's a nice picture too. Hey, like the paparazzi.
Yeah. We gotta take him back. There's
Next.
Drew's clue.
Come on.
Drew's clue.
Come on.
Oh. Anybody else? Everybody else.
Yeah. I wish Jason was with his crew.
Good job, thank you.
They said they're on it. Is he going to come tomorrow? They said, well, I didn't feel Jim will come here.
Yeah, right. Get a flash.
It'll be a nice anniversary. That'd be great.
He likes to do other things too much. Live life.
Don't we need Greg and his crew?
Well, my crew's a little splattered, but
Hey.
Jossie, bring your children over here. What here?
Delicioso.
Our little thing. Martin.
I can't say.
How do I do that?
I have no idea where my purse is.
Are you in like you or a whole guy?
Okay, here. Sure. I like them all.
The big one. From what I gathered.
Well, it's that button on the bottom. Just push it. Push the button on there. The pretend button that's on the screen. Pretend button that's on the screen.
Yeah. A picture of his hand.
Hey, Judy, we can get started. There you go.
Alright, that's a good picture.
Perfect. One more. Ready?
Ah.
Oh, you're all right. Oh, I got something. We got you. Hold on.
You got me? Yep. I think you're all here now. Cheryl,
Good one.
got me?
I'm doing my job very well, am I?
That's what we like to hear. Good enough.
You guys got me? Honey?
Yep.
Sit down and shut up.
Brother has
That's gorgeous.
a couple of things he wants to say, wants to share with us, so I think most of us are in the room. This is Ed, Bud, everybody in this room I think knows and loves this guy right here.
Yep, Uncle Bud.
Got you all fooled, huh?
Cheryl, 111. Just let me know.
I think everybody understands that this is a celebration of Betty's life and there's nothing formal. I had just a couple little remarks they asked me to make, just some brief recollections. They're fleeting, they're totally inadequate to begin to sum up anything about Betty. Then after I make my couple little remarks, I have a poem I want to share with you and how that poem came to me. So I wrote these down so I would remember them. I've been practicing so I wouldn't cry too much.
Amen.
Sad to say that, didn't I? Betty was not just my big sister, she was big sister to many people. Her generous heart and spirit were always evident. Blessed with many talents, she shared what she had willingly. No one knows how many lives she touched in her earthly journey, but anyone who knew Betty had to respond to her. She had an insatiable curiosity and experimented with many things that life had to offer. She was blessed with artistic talent and superior intellect. She could take a piece of cloth and turn it into a party dress by evening. She could be found lecturing students at Ohio State University, or quietly engrossed in making a beautiful piece of jewelry to give away once it was completed. And my wife brought 3 of those pieces, which are hanging up down there in that mantel if you'd like to see them. She could take ordinary food and turn it into extraordinary culinary treats. I first experienced this when I was just a little kid on the farm, and she took hot dogs and introduced me to the wonderful world of Coney Island. And I still remember that big wow factor when I knew hot dogs could be something more than just hot dogs. That is just one of the many little fond memories that gently caress my soul. Betty never had children, but she expressed her maternal instinct nurturing her many cats. Some of them were little devils, some of them were lovely, but she loved them all equally and was devoted to them. One of my early memories of Betty, she loved to read, is Betty sitting up milking a cow and reading a book. That's my Betsy. She wore her heart on her sleeve, and any mention of loss or sadness experienced by others would bring tears to her eyes. She loved causes, and she would throw her energies into trying to undo injustices as she perceived them. In short, Betty had a huge heart and a great capacity for love. She experimented with various philosophies, but in recent years, when asked her religion, she replied, "I'm a Christian lady." Betty was a dreamer, was always looking for the next unique, new, and wonderful experience. Now she's in a place where she is totally loved and celebrated and cherished, where there is only light, love, and color, no pain, no doubts, no confusion. just total joy without end. So dream on, big sister, and those of us who miss you on the physical plane will romp with you in our dreams until we meet at Jesus' feet.
Amen.
I just finished reading a book that was on my Kindle, and I finished it after I got here to Columbus for this event today to celebrate Betty's life, and it's called Proof of Heaven. And in that book, the author had been adopted, and he was searching for his natural family, and he found a picture of his deceased sister that had this poem attached to it. It was not by the author, but it was by Daniel Romano, the author of the poem. And this was attached to the picture of his deceased sister, and her name was Betsy. So Betty and God are collaborating to let me speak for her, and this is Betty speaking to us, I think. It's called When Tomorrow Starts Without Me. When tomorrow starts without me and I'm not there to see, if the sun should rise and find your eyes all filled with tears for me, I wish so much you wouldn't cry the way you did today when thinking of the many things we didn't get to say. I know how much you love me, as much as I love you, and each time you think of me, I know you'll miss me too. But when tomorrow starts without me, please try to understand that an angel came and called my hand and took me, called my name and took me by the hand, and said my place was ready in heaven far above, and that I'd have to leave behind all those I dearly love. But as I turned to walk away, a tear fell from my eye. For all my life, I always thought I didn't want to die. I had so much to live for, so much left yet to do. It seemed almost impossible that I was leaving you. I thought of all the yesterdays, the good ones and the bad, the thought of love that we shared and all the fun we had. If I could relive yesterday, just even for a while, I'd say goodbye and kiss you, and maybe see you smile. But then I fully realized that this could never be, for emptiness and memories would take the place of me. And when I thought of worldly things I might miss come tomorrow, I thought of you, and when I did, my heart was filled with sorrow. But when I walked through heaven's gates, I felt so much at home. When God looked down and smiled at me from his great golden throne, he said, "This is eternity, and all I've promised you. Today your life on earth is past, but here it starts anew. I promise no tomorrow, but today will always last. And since each day's the same way, there's no longing for the past. You've been so faithful, so trusting, and so true, that there were times you did some things you knew you shouldn't do. But you have been forgiven, and alas, now you are free. So won't you come and take my hand and share my life with me? So when tomorrow starts without me, don't think we're far apart. For every time you think of me, I'm right there in your heart."
Amen. I like that.
And I have copies if anybody is interested.
I want it.
And if anyone would have anything, we're very informal here today. If anyone would like to share a memory, no introductions needed. Just please feel free to stand up and express where you are, what you'd like to say in remembrance of our dear sister and friend.
I think it's kind of neat that today's Groundhog Day. We start looking forward to spring and new life. And as we start our new lives without Betty, she starts her new heavenly life. That's pretty cool.
Well said. Thank you.
How many times do you remember sitting downstairs, all the grandkids and all the cousins? There'd be like 15 or 20 of us, and we'd wait for that laugh. So we could all laugh.
Yeah.
It was Aunt Betty, only Aunt Betty. Isn't that funny? Remember that?
Yeah, Betty's laugh. Tell me your experience when you first came into the family about Betty Huckett.
Oh.
You can stand up.
Just a short one, but I've always remembered it. It was when we were first married, and we were at Mom and Dad's house, which was probably every Sunday for a good many years. And Betty came over and hugged me, and nobody could hug like Betty.
That's true.
And she said to me, "You're not used to being hugged, are you?" And I laughed. I said, "No, but I can get used to it." And if you're with the Fall family, you don't have any choice.
That's the truth.
I'll tell you one of my favorite memories of Betty was, Uncle Bud said about the jewelry that she used to make of it. I remember, like, back in the 70s, for birthdays and Christmas, we would always get some cool 70s looking that she had made. I just couldn't wait for Christmas, birthday to see what Aunt Betty was going to get for me. That was a cool thing.
Yeah. And it was always unique for that person, too.
Yeah.
It was made for that person, definitely. No doubt about it.
Well, I was the last of the children, and Betsy was the first of our children that lived, although we had an older brother that died at birth. So there were 10 years between her and me. And she was sort of assistant mom right from day one. And when Bud was sharing about her reading the book and milking the cow, she also had at times a little 2-year-old kid sitting on this knee while she read the book and milked.
That's the original multitasking. Junie asked me if I would read this for her. And I'm happy to do that for you, Junie.
Betsy wrote that.
Betsy wrote this as well. My friends were few, my way was hard. I could not even pray. The world felt dark and dank and cold, nor could I find the day. I did not care to live or die, for I had lost my way. Then softly, gently to my mind, her voice came sweet and clear. You are my child, I live in you. How can you know despair? Then strong and bold into my mind, his voice spoke wild and free. You are my child, I live in you. What right have you to fear? Now I am gentle, strong and wise. My life is bold and free. I can forever trust in them because they live in me. That's
All right.
Ron, you have to contribute. You have been said. Let me explain, Ron. Can you explain Ron to Kara?
Ron has been there for our Betsy, with our Betsy, through Betsy adventures and misadventures for, ever since she started her
30 years, Ron?
educational career, probably 30 years ago. And he has been faithful, and his humor and his insight and his loving nature have been a blessing, not only to our dear Betsy, but to every one of us who is fortunate enough to know him. He's a gem. There just aren't two Ron Betts on this planet. With that introduction.
This beautiful gentleman visited Betty when she was no longer sentient or verbal. That's true, Ron.
I was Betty's field instructor when she was doing her master's in social work, and I smile when I think about it because one of the things I remember about Betty is her smile. It would just lighten you up. I kind of discovered sometime during the placement that I was being taught the same as I was trying to teach her. She was a wealth of knowledge, and she was so willing to share that. There was something about Betty that was always struck me as being very fragile. And it's like she had gone through a lot of pain. And one of the things that I was very well aware of in terms of her working with other people was she would tap into their pain and really relate to them, helping them open up and talk. She was very special. I think she wanted to shock me at some point in our relationship, and she announced that she was a Wiccan witch, and I thought, oh my God, what do we have here? And how come I didn't know that? And of course, I didn't even know what it was. But ultimately, she took me to one of the ceremonies, and it was not at all what I imagined it to be. With a lot of craziness. It was actually very spiritual, and she was a very spiritual person. And she would tell stories about her earlier life, and being a very shy person that I am, I was saying, oh my God, really, you did this and this and this, and it was, she would crack that big smile, and I never really knew whether it was true or not, but it was a good story.
Yeah, she could tell stories.
Betty never let the truth stand in the road of a really good story.
That's right. That's right.
That was part of her charm.
I think so. She was very, very special to me.
Thanks, Ron.
I want to miss Betsy. Just a friend, but she felt like a lot more than that to me. And she's the most flamboyant person I've ever known in my whole life. And she's really inspired me to just be. So I hope as I continue to grow up, I can be more real like she is, and not be afraid to show my uniqueness, even though it's not perfect. So she taught me a lot about that just to celebrate myself, so I hope at some point I'll be able to do that like she did, and just celebrate who I am, and like she was able to celebrate herself. So I'm truly blessed to have known her.
There was a point where she decided to clarify her Wiccanness. She made the statement, well, you understand, I'm a white witch. I'm on God's side. I'm not one of those other guys.
She made that very clear.
And to indicate that, 666 is considered the sign of the devil, she used the symbol 777. She had it on her luggage. She had it on everything so that you wouldn't get confused. And then she had, it's up there somewhere, that lanyard with the little silver case. And I don't know what the words were, but she told me when she came up here from Florida, she wore this all the time. And I asked her one time what it was, and she said, that's my promise to God, and I like to just keep it there to remind myself. And she wore it for years until she had reached the stage in her disease that it was, we weren't sure that anything she had would stay with her, that it might be lost or stolen or whatever. So we kept it in her belongings. That was her promise to God. She had it all. She had peace with herself about all of that. Yeah, sure did. She certainly took a lot of interesting twists and turns on her journey. I'll give it a life. Yeah.
Kind of reminds me, though, the Bible says you bring them up in the way they should be, and then every part they're from. And Betty had a lot of side roads to explore, but in the end, she came back, and her very simple Christian faith that sustained her. Even when she wasn't verbal much anymore, go to the nursing home when they sang hymns, where she could find a way to express herself. She was there.
What was her favorite song? Andy Walker. The Andy song.
And she called it the Andy song. Andy walked with me. Andy.
I would like to say I've always just admired, no matter who was around, how much love and affection we felt among us. Because family and friends, it's remarkable how it doesn't matter the amount of time you bring something in there that just lights up. No matter what the reasoning for our coming together, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I think that's unique. I don't know, it's very powerful to me, from the fact that we can share that as we branch off, move on, keep going. Great. I'm very honored to be able to feel it. I appreciate everything very much. Greatly. I wish I'd have known Betty more. I remember the times I did get to be around her. My memory is terrible, but you have bits and pieces of very happy times.
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate all that.
Levi, you know her by extension because everybody in this room has been influenced by her some way, so you have no.
Right? Ones can go far.
Well, on the way down here, I actually wrote something on Facebook through the window driving. How beautiful I really was. I put, and please no one take any offense because it's kind of a standing joke. Heading to Columbus for the family reunion that everyone hates. Betsy, we will miss you. And today we have our old-fashioned family reunion to grieve. And then I put a bunch of periods and put no. It's to celebrate the amazing person that you are and to make each of us be thankful for life and be blessed to know you. So happy your suffering is over. And now you can just wait for the afterlife family reunion. And we will all try to make you wait as long as possible. Much love, everyone. And everyone, please know that there is still time for everything, but it's limited. So make sure the juice is worth the squeeze.
Beautiful.
That's my boy.
I thought it was relevant. So.
That's good.
I missed a lot with Betsy. And it makes me feel bad.
She got a lot of.
I know. She's in here.
You got a lot of Betty.
Because I've got that empathy. I can bring out of people. They want to tell me. They want to talk to me. I have a unique perspective on life. And I never really understood where these things came from. Because it wasn't Mom. And it wasn't Dad. So I just always thought it was just me. But I think it was Betsy and me. But I've always been told, how do you see things the way you see them? I said, I don't know. It's the gift God gave me a long time ago. The times that I did spend with her, I totally loved and enjoyed. And I wish there would have been more of them, but God knows why things happen the way they do. And I have turned out to be an awesome person. And I thank God for that and for this family. And I've tried to instill that on all my kids, how important it is.
Seems like you did a pretty good job.
Family is family, and that's all there is to it. It don't matter blood. It doesn't matter none of that stuff. Once you're in, you're in. And you better just accept it because ain't nothing going to trick. That's right. That's what I tell people. Once you're in this heart, there ain't no getting out. You're stuck right there. You can go wherever you want to, but eventually You're right there.
That's the Betsy gene. There's somebody in this room that has the Betsy gene. It's you, Karen, and my daughter's awesome. You too have the Betsy gene.
Oh, I could tell you Betsy before she even passed away. I was talking about her, had pictures of her out talking to my husband about her, and shouting who she was and telling me how great of a person she was, how spiritual and outgoing and fun, loving kind of person she was. And I think I could feel her spirit before she passed on. And I was, I think she was just letting me know, hey, don't forget about me, you know, just keep me in your heart.
I think so.
I just able to see that connection. You know, I definitely saw a very close connection to her, and I don't even think I met her until I was like 10 years old. But I could tell that she was family, for sure.
I know I gotta watch my hugs. 'Cause I gave my stepmom a hug and she had to go to the chiropractor. I put her back way out. So now every time I approach her, she's like, "Don't squeeze me." It's like, okay.
All right, I'll say something. Bud thinks I should say something. I was talking to God the other day, and I said, I'm glad Betsy's healed, and I'm glad that she's free, but I wish she didn't have to be dead. And God said, honey, trust me, I know what's best for everybody all the time. And I said, you're a foul. Anybody ever wants to know what God's surname is, it's Mr. God Foul. However, I shared that with Ronnie the other day, and he said, sounds like some people in my family. So God might have messed around more than one family. We're not sure.
Like your friend just came in. Welcome. Thank you. I'm so glad you came to me. Sharing memories about Betsy. Have you had something special to do?
Can I take your coat for you? We have a place to hang them. I promise I'll tell you what it is.
These are my friends Jenny and Beverly. They came in late. So that's these
We were at I don't remember where we were. We were at the restaurant the other day. There was a couple there. I think it was Barbie's where we go a lot of times on Saturday morning. And this lady started laughing and if I didn't know better, I'd have thought that was Karen sitting over there. She doesn't so much like your laugh, but you were just there, and I wanted to tell you about that. Not thinking about seeing you to tell you, but I thought it was really funny. If I didn't know better, I think that was Karen.
I know.
No, she was. And you're not, well, when you're talking about like Betty.